Okay, so bring your attention to your face again. We'll kind of start there, and we'll kind of start growing some rest in our body. So pay attention to your face and let your jaw relax. Just kind of notice the sensation of your jaw, just sort of like letting go, you know. It might make you more aware of like tension, potentially, but keep bringing your attention to the restful relaxation part of letting your jaw, letting it go. Sort of let that sensation of relaxation or ease or that happens, let that spread through your head. See, with rest, it's kind of, some of these things, it's more about letting it, noticing it when it arises, but rest is one of those things that you can actually create, which is cool, because rest has some good benefits, some fun benefits sometimes, so it's nice to be able to create rest. You can watch where and just notice where it arises, or you can create it. So we're kind of like creating it right now. I guess we're creating it and noticing it. Let your jaw relax and let that spread through your head. Notice that when you breathe in, your shoulders kind of reach up a little bit, and then when you exhale, they let go. Just kind of notice the quality of that letting go in your body. The quality of like, okay, my shoulders don't have to hold anything up anymore, and there's something about that that feels good. They're kind of falling, and that feels good. Let that sensation spread into your arms and your hands. Now, notice that when you inhale, your spine kind of reaches up, just kind of stretches out and lengthens, and then when you exhale, it sort of returns to its, it lets go of that reaching. And maybe the discs sort of stretched out, and now they're sort of like squishing together again. Not necessarily squishing, but just sort of falling together. And that stretching's not there anymore. Maybe notice when you inhale, notice when you exhale that happens. And notice how there's something kind of nice about that. So let that niceness of your spine sort of relaxing, let that spread around to your chest and your belly. Good. Now, notice your legs. Notice how your legs they don't have to hold you up. They're just hanging out there, and there's maybe something kind of nice about the fact that your legs don't have to hold you up. Notice the quality of that nice sensation. So this sort of sensation of, you know, your body not having to hold you up, your legs not having to hold you up, you could point to that and label that as rest. Those of you who've done this before, that would be feel rest. But if not, you just call it rest. Now let your jaw relax again. Go back to your jaw and let that relax again. Notice the quality of that sensation of letting it relax. Point to that with the label rest. It's not a command. It's not like you're commanding it to rest. You're just pointing at the rest that's there. Just using it as a way to channel your attention towards that sensation that's there. That's what the label's for. Points at it, or penetrates the sensation a little more deeply. Let the rest spread into your head. Notice that when you inhale, your shoulders lift, and on the exhale, they rest, they drop. Pay attention to the quality of that, letting go by labeling it as rest. Or feel rest, more specifically, if you've done this before. Let that rest sort of spread into your arms and your hands. There might be other things that arise, sounds or thoughts or tension in your body. You can have like tension somewhere, but have rest right next to it. And what we're doing is we're paying attention to the rest. You might find that if you pay attention to the rest that's right next to the pain, that it spreads to the pain, spreads to the tension. You might find that. You might find that it makes the tension worse too. But notice that when you inhale, your spine reaches up and it sort of lengthens, and the discs and everything get stretched out all the way from your neck all the way down to your tailbone when you breathe. And when you exhale, they sort of allow it to come back to their more original, unstretched position. There might be a relaxation sensation that you can find that goes along with that. Let that rest wrap around your chest and your belly. The sensation of that rest. And as you notice that, label it rest. Just to help program your brain just a little bit, I'm going to have you actually say it out loud just once. Just kind of notice the rest in your body and just say it out loud once. Rest. You might notice that has a different effect potentially. If you're doing this on your own and you're meditating on your own and you're having trouble like staying awake, for instance, that's something you can do. You can say it out loud. You can also open your eyes and do it. Notice your legs and notice how they're not holding you up right now, and there's something kind of nice about that. Maybe a sensation that's kind of nice that goes along with that. Point to that and label it rest. Now see if you can bring your attention to your whole body as much as you can. And notice the rest wherever it is in your whole body. There might be parts that aren't restful, but see if you can pay attention to your whole body and notice the rest that might be there everywhere. Or notice all of the rest that's there at the same time. Coming back to the rest in your body. So now, bring your attention to sort of the front boundary of your body. And see if you can feel, you might be able to feel how that rest, it might end where your body ends, or it might sort of extend beyond your body, potentially. Maybe 2 inches, maybe 2 miles, I don't know. Or maybe it just stops where your body stops. See if you can notice where the rest stops. Now notice on your right side, the right boundary space of your body, and see if the rest, where it stops. Maybe it's inside your body somewhere, and when you get to the boundary it stops, or maybe it stretches beyond the boundary of your body into space somewhere. Just kind of notice where the rest stops. Now notice your backside. Feel the boundary space of your backside and see where the rest is in relationship to that boundary of your body. Maybe it's inside of it, maybe it stops where the boundary stops, maybe it goes beyond that into space. Feel the left side of your body, the left boundary space of your body. Notice where the rest is in relationship to that boundary space. Maybe it's inside of it, maybe it stops along with it, maybe it goes beyond the boundary space of your body. Now feel the top of your head, your shoulders, or the top part of your body, the boundary space of the top of you. And the same thing, feel where the rest is in relationship to that. Now feel the bottom, the boundary space along the bottom, and notice where the rest is in relationship with that. Now see if you can feel the whole, all of that, all of those, 1, 2, what is that, 6 sides? All of those 6 sides at the same time. Where the rest is. Hold the whole 6 sides of your boundary space in your awareness and notice where the rest is in relationship to that. Coming back to all the 6 sides and noticing where the rest is in relationship to the boundary space on all 6 sides. Front, right side, left side, back side, top side, bottom side. Maybe in places it's inside your body, maybe it extends up to the boundary of your body, maybe it goes beyond. It might be kind of like a egg shape, or it might be, it could be like a box, or it could be a number of things. It could be lopsided, or it could be perfectly round, or maybe it just goes on forever. Maybe there's no shape. So as you're doing this, again, there might be other things that are drawing your attention. Maybe some discomfort arising potentially, or having sat this long. Just keep willing yourself to come back to the sensation of the rest in your body. Now, after having done this, we're sort of interpenetrating things with rest. You might kind of like fluff things up and create some space in certain places. And in that space, you might be able to notice that there's some maybe sort of like scintillating quality, or vibrating quality, or pulsing, or any sort of movement quality. Like the physical analogy to like static, like static on the TV or static on the radio or something might have that sort of like vibrating, sort of fluffy quality, potentially. It doesn't have to be fluffy. It could be any version that has movement in it. See if you can notice that, and if there's any part of your body, maybe your whole body that you notice that in. Label that as flow. Really bring your attention to the scintillating, vibrating, flowing, moving quality, energy moving, or whatever it might be, pulsing, or whatever. Point to that as flow. Flow. For those of you who've done this before, that specifically would be feel flow. If not, you just call it flow. Flow. Maybe some parts are static, but maybe there's other parts that are where there's movement. See if you can notice where the movement is and label that as flow. Keep coming back to that. Now, flow, that's flow in your body, but flow shows up in other ways too. So bring your attention, sorry to pull you away from that if you're finding that cool or interesting. Bring your attention to the space in the movie screen in your head. Sort of look into the space behind your eyelids. Look into the darkness, or if you look into that, it might be sort of like mottled, might be black mostly, but maybe colors, or could show up in different ways. If you look behind your eyelids there, this blankness or lightness behind your eyelids, and notice that. You might notice that there's some sort of scintillating quality of that. There might be different colors, or swirling, or again, in some way it might look kind of like the static on your TV, or things like that. Bring your attention to that. To look into the space behind your eyelids there. Gaze into that space and notice if there's any scintillating, vibrating, movement quality to that at all. Like grainy quality. And if so, label that as flow. And for those of you who've done this before, that would be sea flow. Or just flow. This is kind of a place where flow is always accessible. Or probably. I guess it might not look that way to everyone, but there's a good chance that you can see that it's grainy or scintillating and moving in some way. Maybe just check in with your body again. See, as noticing all this flow, noticing the feel flow that we were doing before, or noticing this scintillating flow behind our eyes, if that's affected your body in any way. Could be that it's increased the flow in your body, potentially. If not, that's okay. Just potentially could. And as you're paying attention to your body, just put a bug in your ear. Another way to access flow is to notice that it's always there, the flow of your breath, the sensation of you breathing. That's a kind of flow that's always accessible. And paying attention, that's why, a lot of meditation techniques just focus on breath. Flow. Okay, so you can start to open your eyes and just crack them open. Let them be downcast looking. Just let the light barely coming in. And as you barely let that light come in, you might notice that there's some aspect of it that's not totally solid. Maybe again there's scintillating or vibrating, or just colors you see, or even with your eyes open. And label that as flow. Maybe let your eyes start to come more open fully. With your eyes open, maybe you can notice that there's some maybe scintillating or vibrating aspect of what you're seeing, potentially. Maybe check in with your body. There's a chance that there's some movement there, some vibration or something that you might be able to call flow. If you're feeling uncomfortable, if there's tension arising, check in with that tension and see if you can notice. You might think, wow, this tension is solid, it's annoying. See if you can notice, look at the edges of it, notice if there's actually scintillating vibration around the edges of it. Maybe part of it is kind of solid and annoying. Maybe another part is actually there's movement, or there's flow. Okay, and when you're ready, you can let that go.